What is and how is your decision making process? How do you come to that decision? Is it a feel good? Is it an emotional? Is it logical? Because every day we're making decisions, whether it's emotional or logical or based on facts or based on false information. Either way, we're making decisions every single day that affects our life. Whether you're a salesman, an entrepreneur, a business owner, it doesn't matter. Everything we do, we make decisions. Welcome to the Paul Cruz Show. I hope everyone's doing well. I have a loaded show, a very powerful show. Some of you might get offended by this because you're going to be asking yourself some serious questions. And for those of you who are listening to me for the first time, the Paul Cruz Show was created for one simple reason. It's to speak what needs to be said and not what people want to hear. So if you're thin-skinned and this offends you, I'm not trying to offend anybody, and it pisses you off because you might feel guilty about something I say that gets into your mind, that's on you. You can simply shut it off, not listen to it. I'm okay with that. For me, the bottom line is about keeping it real, straight talk, and speaking what needs to be said by asking yourself important, simple questions. Before we dig into the powerful topic, if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, hit the subscription button below. Hit the notification button. I got some great content coming out. Don't want you to miss it. Also, share it with others if you believe this can help others. Now, making choices, then taking action. That's the title of my topic today. Now, the question is, every day you have to make a choice. Getting up to go to work, getting in the car to drive, getting to work, doing your work, having the right attitude, the right mindset, the wrong attitude, the wrong mindset, being in a bad mood, being happy. You make choices every single day. God gave us that ability. We're free moral agents. We make choices. And every choice we make has consequences, good, bad. There's no middle ground. It's either good or bad. Does that make sense? So, what I've learned over the years, and I was guilty of that at one time until I matured and I had understanding and I learned why I was making those decisions. But right now, in society today, in business today, as salespeople, everything that we do and every decision that's being made, or most of them, is based on feelings. Oh, I feel this, I feel that, I feel good, blah, 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 right? Without realizing that those feelings are going to have consequences if not controlled. And then you have emotions. People that are emotional, that cannot handle failures, that cannot handle adversity. They get all emotional, that it becomes detrimental to them. Been there, done that. Because that's how we are today. Because no one likes to think. So whether you make a choice or you decide not to make a choice, either way you made a choice and there's going to be consequences. No ways around that. If you look at today's current world affairs, just think about it. Whatever politics you follow, I understand politics more than the politicians, but I don't get involved. But if you look at it, what these politicians do is they get people emotional, feeling a certain way because they know it works. And people don't think. They just believe what they hear instead of proving it. That's a choice they make. do you know what's true to make those choices that have consequences? Because after you make a choice, guess what follows? Then you're going to take action on that choice. Again, whether it's good or bad. Does that make sense? Now I'm going to share with you a personal story, that I had to make choices. I had to make decisions on the spot. In order to make choices and make certain decisions, you have to understand what you're involved with. You have to understand the environment you're in. You have to understand, the situations and understand what could be the consequences by making a certain choice. That's called thinking. So for me, when I left Las Vegas in 2019, I was tired of Las Vegas. The last 2 years were the worst years of my life, but I was contracted to finish a job there. And I lost a lot of money in the process. I was miserable. I've been wanting to leave for a while, but certain things happened that I didn't get to leave. But when I left that day, I knew that decision I made, that choice I made was going to have a compound effect because I was ready to take the action. I was excited. I didn't know anything about El Paso, but I knew that's where I was going. So I made that choice. And on my way here, when I got here, I had reserved a hotel for 30 days because I didn't know where I was going to live. I was going to look at places. And 3 hours before I was going to check in, I got a call that was devastating. Let's just put it this way. Something happened to my account that the only thing I had at that point was $25 in my pocket. I had all my luggage. I was in a new town, a new place, not knowing anybody. And here I am with $25 in my pocket unexpectedly. I was like, what do I do? Now, as a thinking man, I didn't get emotional. I didn't freak out. I knew God was with me. And I know that He was going to get me through this. But I had to do my part. I had to think about the situation. I had to think about the area I'm in, not knowing anybody. But I'm a thinking man and I'm a salesman. And salespeople solve problems. So I started making phone calls, not knowing anything. And so it was early enough for me to make a phone call. Long story short, there's about 3 shelters in this area in El Paso, Texas, that I never been to one, never lived in one, never had to be in one. But I had no choice. So I made a phone call and they said there's a place you can go to and it's free and you can stay there as long as you need to. So here I am in a new place with I got 3 luggage and I don't know where I'm at. I'm catching a cab to this place. When I get to this place, it was the most disgusting place I ever seen. I wouldn't even want my worst enemies in there. But I had no choice. I signed in. I checked in my luggage. I had dinner. When I saw the environment that I was in, I said, I cannot stay here, God. So I got up and left in the middle of the night. I had to make a choice. But I understood why I had to make those decisions. And I wound up going to the bus depot where I came from in the area. And I talked to the security guards. I said, listen, here's my situation. Here's my ticket. This is what happened. Can I just stay here for the night? Because, I got to find a place. So it worked out that way. The very next day, I wound up staying at a shelter because I made some phone calls. I found some things out. And it was a blessing. God delivered me. The point I'm trying to make is this. Not trying to give you a sob story. Not trying to do any of that. Just telling you experiences when you make choices. They have consequences. And I was delivered. I found, I was in the shelter for a few months and things were turning around. I was able to find a job, take care of some things. I found a place and things were going well. But here's what you have to understand. In order to make choices, what you have to do is you have to have understanding. For me in sales, I have to understand my customer or my prospect before I can be understood. The problem is people don't even take time to try to understand. Why? Because they react on emotions and they react on feeling. Oh, I feel like this or I feel like that. But they don't think about it. There's nothing wrong having feelings and having emotions. But you got to understand how it works and how to use that. Once you have understanding of a situation, now the knowledge comes when you take the action, or what I call the application. That's the action. The result is the consequences. So you made a choice, then you took action. But how does that happen? Then wisdom comes just from experiencing things. Because of my experience in life, being in certain difficult situations over the years, being a thinker, understanding circumstances, being a salesman, I was able to think a certain way. And when I understood what I was going to do, then I made the choice. And with that choice, I took the action. And the actions you take have consequences, not only immediately, but maybe 5 years from now, maybe 2 years from now, down the road. There's always going to be consequences for those actions and those choices you make or you don't make. Now, here's a question. With everything going on right now, we have technology. We can talk to anybody around the world. We talk at any time. Got many applications to speak with people like never, ever before. Why is it that we could create so many great things with technology, yet we as people can't solve our problems? We as people hate each other, jealous of each other, don't have love for each other, because people make choices. Now, when we make choices, you and I and all of us, we're either going to do the right choice or the wrong choice, or do the right thing or the wrong thing. And depending on your character and how you think and how it's built, you're going to make the right choice or the wrong choice every single time. You're going to do the right thing or the wrong thing. Think about it. Why do people lie? Why do people cheat on their spouses? Why do people steal? I remember when I was growing up as a kid, back in the day, I had an allowance of 25 cents a week. That was a lot back then. And my dad and I were very close. And so he had some change on his table counter. And so I took a quarter. He's my dad. He saw that I did that. He grabbed my hand, put my hand with the fire on the stove underneath it. I didn't get burned, but I felt the heat, to let me know you don't steal. Not even a penny. It's my money. I work for it. You don't take nobody's money. I learned a valuable lesson. Stealing is not just a physical thing. It's a mental thing. People make those choices. Why do they make those choices? Why do people murder? Why do people become prostitutes, child molesters, drug addicts? I know it's extreme, but these are real life situations. It's something deeper than I'm going to get into right now because I can't talk about it. But people make choices. And those choices come from somewhere. That is the way they think. But why? Excuse me. Why people make these choices? What's behind the influence of those choices? I'm going to keep it simple. Your actions are tied to your thoughts. So the way you think eventually is the way you're going to take action. There's no ways around that. And if you don't control your thoughts, eventually those thoughts are going to lead into action. When a man looks at a woman and lusts after her and wants her and things like that, or the woman for the man, they're lusting after that, that thought right there has to be fulfilled, meaning that action has to be taken, which means the sexual part will take place somehow, some way, because that's the thought they have. And then when you make those choices all the time and you continue to take the actions, it becomes a habit. And that habit becomes your character. And when is your character revealed? When adversity hits and the way you deal with problems, your character is revealed. So it's easy to read people. It's not difficult. Just watch what they do, not what they say. Not complicated. They make choices. I make choices. I remember, when I was in the shelter, I met some great people there. I learned a lot from people, and it saddened me because a lot of these people don't have any hope. I have hope because I know God will always deliver me, but not everyone has that. I've been blessed with that. And nobody ever knew I was in the shelter because my attitude was, I'm not homeless. I got a roof over my head. I got food to eat. I got clothing. The only difference is I have roommates I don't agree with. That's my attitude. But I knew by the choices I made when I was in there that I was going to get out. There's no doubt about that. People make choices that's their lifestyle. But for me, it was a blessing. I learned so much. And I realized how blessed I really am. And that I don't worry about nothing. Because I know who's in control. So these choices come from the way we think is the way we're going to act. Now, there are times you think about something, you're afraid to do it because you're afraid what people are going to think, or the case may be. Eventually, that's going to come out. It's just the way it is. Your thoughts have to be fulfilled. But you have to control those thoughts. That's a choice you make, whether you control that thought or not. You made a choice. The minute a bad thought comes into my mind, I change it right away when I realize it because I know where it's coming from. And I know why that thought came in there. And that's why every morning, when I get up, the first thing I do is I fix my bed, I say my prayers, and I read positive things because I know the way I think that day and that moment is going to determine a lot of the outcome of my day. So why do we think the way we think? Have you ever asked yourself that question? You see, we're blinded with all the marketing, advertising, the media, movies, video games. Well, we're distracted about everything. Try not having a phone for 6 months. I dare you. I bet you can't do it. Try not to have a laptop or a computer or TV for a year or two. I did it. I don't even have a TV. I don't want a TV. I don't watch movies anymore. I don't listen to music, maybe certain type of music from the old music, classical and things like that, because all the stuff that's out there right now is programming us to think wrong, to take wrong actions, but we accept it because society is accepting it. And if you stand up and you do the right thing, you're mocked. So just think about that. We make choices every single day. We make decisions every single day. And every choice we make, if you don't think about it, you don't understand it, and you just go with the flow, as they say, and it feels good and is emotional, then you get exactly what you deserve. Because those are the decisions you make. Those are the choices you make. Now, and you have to remember this. Our mindset, and I talk a lot about mindset in almost all my content, my videos, and my audios. I always talk about mindset and attitude because that's where it all begins. So our mindset and our attitude determines the choices or the actions we take. Does that make sense? Just think about it. It's very simple. You know, the hardest thing for us to do as human beings is to accept when we are wrong. That's called ego. That's called pride, vanity, being selfish. Because your actions, by not admitting that you're wrong when you're wrong, affects other people. Just think about that. I was talking to a client of mine about 6 months ago before this pandemic, and he trusts me, and I get real close to my clients. They start to tell me personal things that I won't tell anybody if I was them, but they tell me, and I stop them at times. And he was telling me, he was having an affair and things like that, and he loves this woman. I said, if you cheat on your wife, how do I know you're not going to cheat on me as far as paying me? Or cheat on your employees? Or cheat on your vendors or your customer? Just think about that. It's a choice. You can't separate one in your personal life from your business. You may think you are, but you're not. Because once you make that choice, and you make that choice many times, it now becomes part of you. It becomes your character. Now, back in the days when I was a younger man, I read a lot of self-help books because I needed help. I was an angry young man. But I learned 10 years ago, self-help books is one of the worst things for people. I would never read any. If I want self-help, I go to the Bible, I go to God, and He'll fix me up. Self-help, hear the word self-help. It's a selfish word. You're trying to self-help and then become prideful. And people don't realize that. It's all about self. All I know is when I was in the shelter and I had problems, I wasn't stressing. I didn't tell my family. I didn't want nobody to know. Because it would have been selfish of me to do that. But I focused on other people's problems and saw how they were going through, what they were going through. They didn't have any hope. I said, this ain't too bad. Because I didn't focus on me. I focused on trying to help them and keep them positive. I know I can't do nothing for them other than just show them love. And hopefully help them understand certain things. So just think about that. You got all these gurus, psychologists, psychiatrists, philosophers. And I don't buy into any of that. Because most of these people don't even understand how the brain works. Or what the mind is. They're trying to get you to believe that we come from monkeys and that we evolved. If that's the case, I could just throw anything in the air and it'll create something. But that's another topic for another day. But just remember this, guys. Every day we're making choices. We're making decisions. And with those choices come actions. And with those actions come consequences. So you need to think and understand the choices you're going to make before you make them. And that's how you grow in knowledge. And when you take the action, it could be good knowledge or bad knowledge, depending on the action you take. But you're not going to grow in wisdom if you keep taking the wrong actions. Does that make sense? So, I want to thank everyone for being part of the Paul Cruz Show. I hope you enjoyed this topic. I hope it was a helpful topic. I hope it has you thinking about how you think and how you make choices and how you make decisions. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not any of that. I'm not a guru. I'm just a normal person that has experiences that is just expressing certain things to you guys that, you guys could take advantage of it and it benefits you and it helps you out, then, that's my reward. So, till we speak again, I say thank you again for being part of the Paul Cruz Show. Again, if you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube, hit the subscription button below. Um, share it with others. Until we speak again, I say goodbye for now. And remember this: every day you make choices, then you take action on those choices. Have a great day. Bye.